Hey there, my sweet and dirty readers. Welcome back. I'm Sierra Hill, and I am a contemporary romance author, and this is my BookTube channel. I'm so glad you're here with me, and if you are sweet and you love to read dirty, then you are in the right place. I have had such a good week. I received lots of questions from readers who watched my BookTube video, my first one, and I appreciate all the comments and questions, and I'm going to get to a couple of those questions today, but I wanted to share some exciting news with you. This past week, I announced that I would be part of a 15-author collective called the All-American Boy Series, and we will be releasing 15 books, brand new books, in this series in January and February of next year of 2021. And so I will be talking more about that as we go on. But in the meantime, please do click the link below. It's the Facebook page for our All-American Boy series. And we have a giveaway going on right now between now and the end of the month. But you'll want to go to that Facebook page, like it, and follow us, and keep up to date, and then also enter to win our $10 gift card contest. I wanted to answer some questions from readers. One of them, comments were about my decor behind me. Thank you for pointing that out. The first one is my love picture, and that is not handmade that I know of. I bought it, but I collect hearts and anything that has to do with love because obviously I'm a romance author, so it's really important to me, and I just love to fill up my room and home with things that are heart. And then the other thing is my 1028. That is a handmade sign, and it was made for me out of reclaimed wood and house numbers from my husband's friend that he works with, and it represents my 1028 publishing company name. But also 1028 has special meaning to me because it's also my birthday. So 1028 and 10 is my favorite number. That's why I created my publishing company and named it after that. So besides my decor questions, I was also asked, what are some of my favorite books? The books that I read or have read, or the authors that I like. And as I started to think about it, I looked at my book collection and I realized, admittedly, I don't have a huge collection of actual print paperback books. And that's because when I started reading again after I completed my master's many years ago, I ended up getting an iPad and then a Kindle. And so all my books are on my e-readers. But there are several that I do have that I wanted to share with you today. The first one that I wanted to talk about is Confessions of a Litigation God. This is by Sawyer Bennett, and Sawyer is one of my my favorite authors. She came out with, I think it was in 2014, she came out with I think it was a 5-part series called Legal Affairs, and it was told by the point of view of the heroine, Michaela. And I was peeved because when I read the first part of the book, I didn't realize I had to wait every 2 weeks to get the next installment. Sawyer, that stings a bit. I am not a cliffhanger person. I don't have the patience to wait, and I get really frustrated. And I was on the edge of my seat waiting to find out what would happen in the story. Now, she has many other different series, so if you love like sports and hockey series, she has 2 different ones, and they're wonderful. She came out then with Confessions of a Litigation God from Matt Conover, the hero's point of view, and I ordered it because I love it. And Matt, you have to love Matt fucking Conover. That's what she calls him in the book. But get that book, amazing, and all her series are amazing. I recommend any of her books, but especially the Legal Affairs and Confessions of a Litigation God. And speaking of hockey romances, if you haven't read the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy, you need to start it right away. So in fact, this series, this is book 1, The Deal. This series prompted me to actually write my own college sports series, although mine aren't hockey, they're basketball. But the Courting Love series was inspired by this series that Elle Kennedy wrote. Now, I was a huge fan of Elle Kennedy before this series came out, but this just sealed the deal. Haha, no pun intended. But this features Hannah and Graham, and it's the classic nerdy girl falls for and reforms the Playboy cocky jock. And it's just a really, really great book and a great series, and I highly recommend it. Now, another one of my favorite authors is Sarina Bowen. And Sarina and Elle actually co-wrote a hockey romance that came out and released in 2015, and it is called Him. Now, this is a beautiful cover first and foremost, but Him is a little different. It's a hockey romance, but it's also a male-male romance. But I picked up Him because I love Elle and Sarina's writing, and I figured together they were going to be dynamo, and I was right. It was so good. It features Ryan or Wesley, also known as Wes, and Jamie Canning. And it is a wonderfully told story. It's emotional. It gets you in all the feelers, and it's a wonderful book. So I highly recommend Him by Sarina Bowen and Elle Kennedy. And finally, one of my favorite trilogies that I have read is Something in the Way by Jessica Hawkins. Now, this is a 3-book series, and again, as I mentioned, I hate cliffies. I hate cliffhangers, folks. It's just not my cup of tea because I just don't have the patience to wait. I also have the memory of a flea, and I cannot, if it's too long between books, I just don't remember, and then it just, yeah. I picked up this book and I read it. I devoured it. It is so good. It's a taboo story of a young girl, and when I say young, I mean young. I just love the plot, and they were just so well written. They just really got you in the heart and the heartstrings, and kept you reading. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Sarina and Elle. Thank you, Sawyer. Thank you all to my favorite authors who paved the way really for me, because they say that there's nothing new under the sun, but I learn from other authors as I read them. And so that's really important to me to continue my readership, and shout outs to those authors as well. So that's it, folks. That is my small but mighty collection of my favorite books and my favorite authors. And I would love to hear from you on your recommendations, as well as if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them, or other books that you'd like to recommend. So please post below, comment below, and I might just select one or two and give a shout out next video. I had promised in my first episode that I would be starting a series, an interview series, and talks with other indie authors to talk about their books and also their writing process. And so my next episode, episode 3, will be an interview with one of those authors. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. You'll just have to wait and see. So in the meantime, subscribe below and make sure that you stay in touch with me and are aware of my next videos or my episodes coming up. And until then, remember to be sweet, love hard, and read dirty. Till next time, see ya.